Hi everyone, it's Matthew here. I just wanted to say hello and welcome you to Occupational Therapy 1 and just give you a little tiny bit of information and a few little things to do before we meet in classes in week 1. As I said, I'm the course convener for this course this semester, and you'll be seeing me and Philippa a lot during the semester in workshops, practice education and in the tutorials as well. This is a course that I'm really interested in. I've taught this since the Griffith program started, but actually I've been teaching this sort of material, these sorts of courses to first year students in all of my academic jobs because I think it's really interesting, but B, because it's so important to get a really strong foundation in this material in order to become a really good occupational therapist. So I'm looking forward to working with you. We will have some interesting discussions over this semester and actually into next semester as well. One of the things I think you need to do for all your courses, but I'm just highlighting it for this one, is to go to Learning at Griffith and just have a good look around the site. So yours might look slightly different. This is the staff view, but essentially it's the same. So I want you to have a look around the Learning at Griffith website. You'll see information about assignments. There's this information and a few little bits, other bits and pieces, and there won't be a lot there, but we will continue to add to this over time. What you can find is staff information, so you can have a look and get our details for the contact details for Philippa and myself, and you can see how to book appointments with us. The other thing I'd encourage you to do, again in all the courses, but in this one, is to look for those sections that include student resources. So there's quite a bit there linking you into some of the resources that are available through Griffith, so have a good look. One thing I want you to do before we meet in class for the workshop is to have a look at the course profile. The course profile, as Libby said last week in O Week, is our agreement with you in terms of what we'll deliver, how we'll deliver it, and the assessments. So what I really want you to have a look is go and have a good look at it, but particularly focus on the learning outcomes for this course and have a look at those. They're very clearly marked at the beginning, and we have divided them into knowledge, skills, and attitudes. So I would like you to have a look at the learning outcomes in the course profile before the workshop on Monday, in week 1. Sorry. The other thing I just want to introduce you to, and we'll do this in a few ways, is one of the things which I sort of hinted at, and hopefully the second and third years have talked to you about a bit about it as well during O Week, is this course adopts an approach to teaching and learning called the flipped classroom. And it will be different from the other courses you're studying in first semester, and it may be different from your previous experience of classroom-based learning. So I just want to spend a bit of time talking through it quickly, but there's other resources available here on Blackboard for you. This is the way classrooms teaching and learning has traditionally happened. In class is when lecturers or teachers, this applies to schools as well as universities, in class is the teachers have delivered the information. So they've told you the definitions, they've explained models or processes, or you've read through the novel or the play or whatever it is. So that in class the focus is on delivering the information. And so and that's done as a group, clearly because it's in class, the teacher with other students and you. And then what you have to do usually is then go home and use that knowledge or apply that knowledge. So in maths, for example, you might have learnt some formulas, learnt how to solve quadratic equations, for example, and then you have to go home and do some of that. You have to apply that knowledge. The problem with this way, or one problem with this way, is that you're home alone trying to apply things. What do you do if you need some help? And the other thing to think about is, do you need someone to be telling you the information, or is the information something you can get from a book, from a website, or from something else? And this isn't clear cut for all areas, but I just want to highlight because this is what we're doing in our course. So in a flipped classroom, the two things swap. So first of all, you do homework before class. You might do some afterwards, but primarily you do your work before you come to class. The other thing that swaps is the work you do by yourself is about gathering the information, getting the information. So you might have to read about a concept or watch a video that explains something to you. And then when we're in class, it won't be me standing up the front talking to you for 2 hours in the workshops, for example. And they're called workshops for this reason, because in class we will spend some time clarifying the information that you've gained from your reading or watching or whatever else the activity was, but in class we'll be using it and applying it. Now the benefit of that is you can apply it, and while you're applying it you can ask questions of me, but the other real strength is that in your case there's 50 odd people in the classroom, and so we can all learn from each other. So if somebody doesn't quite understand one bit, somebody can explain it and then we can all check it out. So it's a very different way of learning. But it means that this time that we spend together in class is really valuable. And so the only thing, or the two things actually, that make that work really well are that all of you do your preparation, so do your homework or your pre-class activities, and that you attend and participate, okay? So that we can really make the most of the time that we're together in class. Now, what I want you to do to get ready for classes, and this is really for the workshop, not practice education. So before the workshop this week, in week 1, what I'd like you to do is, first of all, have a look at the video or videos on flipped learning that I put on Blackboard here for you. The second thing I want you to do is to have a think about these questions. And this is just starting to get you thinking about your learning. So what's been your experience so far of classroom learning? That could have been at school, could have been in the workplace, or it could have been at university or TAFE or anywhere else you've had classroom-based learning. And I want you to think about what have you liked and not liked? What have you liked and disliked? What's worked for you and what hasn't worked for you? The second thing I want you to think about is, what do you want to get out of your education here at Griffith, and specifically the Occupational Therapy program and this course, 1311 AHS. So I want you to think about that. What do you want to get out of it? And then the third thing I want you to think about is if this is your first year at university, what do you think it's going to be like? And I guess, how do you think it's going to be similar or different from your previous classroom-based learning experiences? Okay. And I'll put a worksheet up so you can take some notes about that, but it doesn't matter how you take some notes, but just take some notes so you think about those things. Okay? And just finally, just a reminder, practice education is not, we won't be going to the school for the first few weeks. We've got some orientation activities to do before we go. So in week 1, the Monday group for practice education will only be required 11 till 12, not the whole time that's in your timetable. 11 till 12, and we'll meet in room GO1 101D. And Tuesday is similarly, but it's 12 till 1 and in the same room. And that room is down near all the occupational therapy staff offices. Okay, so a few things for you to do, not much though, and we'll see you in classes in week 1.